Welcome back to the Western Clash. The last North American hope is on their last legs, and they will need to stand tall here if they want to stay in the tournament. What does Team Freedom have to do to beat the Leftovers?
They have to go back to basics. Anytime we've seen them look their most happy, their most confident, they said, we've been winning by accident. I think they're feeling a lot of pressure right now. If they do lose this game, if they do lose this series, they are out of the tournament. They need to just ignore that. Play each game as an individual thing and try to have fun.
Call it. Anything to add to that?
On the other side of things, I completely agree with you, but they also have a bunch of pocket picks that they could look to use in this series, and I think if you're at this point, that's definitely time to use them.
I think one thing they can do too is take the energy of the crowd. They are here to support them. They have showed up here on a Sunday to really cheer for North America, so make sure to be empowered and use that to their advantage. All right, so we're getting ready here for our third battleground. I want to see where exactly Team Freedom is intending to go. Will they go with the first pick strategy, set up a foundation, or will they be choosing a battleground where they can have a map-specific type of strategy? So let's go ahead and get ready for this. So let's prepare here. What map do you want to see?
Well, I hope for Team Freedom's sake that they decide to go for the first pick. I hope we see a battleground where both teams can just try to team fight. I think they need a composition that works to their strengths and they can all be on the same page, because anytime they look discoordinated at all, Blakidney decimates the backline.
Well, I'm hearing that we are ready for game at number 3. Let's go to the battleground. The battleground chosen will be Infernal Shrines. First pick is picked up by Team Freedom. Leftovers have chosen this battleground. This is the one that allows you to fight, Colin.
Absolutely. There's the single point of contest. I love seeing these two teams fight for one single point. You know, we've seen some different styles of drafts on this map in particular method. The ones running that Zarya, they run Malthael, but as far as Leftovers and Team Freedom are concerned, it's basically anything that can show up on this map in particular.
Alexstrasza.
Yep.
She's been big the entire weekend. She's big on this battleground, especially for Europe. We've seen it in North America in the past. Garrosh also, although he's been banned in a couple of these matches already, if he can be picked up and control that front line, and Diablo will continue to be a mainstay.
It would be cheeky, but if we do see Leftovers go back to the two-headed Bob Barker, and every time there's that come on down, those team fights look free, I would not be surprised at all to see that. If anything, if we see an early Alexstrasza pick, if Leftovers have something else in mind, they could force out the prop Cho'Gall ban.
I mean, if Cho'Gall does get picked up, you can play macro in this battleground around it. Sure, the turrets won't give as much experience, but you can still dance around it.
Yeah, at this point on this map in particular, I do think that Team Freedom would be too smart to walk into the Cho'Gall trap. Tychus is really good on this map in particular. We didn't see the Cho'Gall response from Team Freedom really in their draft last time that we saw it on Tomb of the Spider Queen, but this is a different map in particular, but we will see what ends up happening. Team Freedom with those luxuries of first pick, first ban, and they're starting out with that Maiev.
I miss Tychus. Where'd he go? Did he get lost with
Who?
the cigar? Yeah, right? He's gone now. Maya banned out. We'll also have the Medivh taken away. There's the Diablo.
I like this. The snap decisions to ban these heroes, to me, says the Team Freedom has gone onto this battleground with a particular plan in mind. They wanted the first pick. They have an immediate strategy. I don't think they're going to wait too long here, unless they were going to try to go for the first ban or the first pick for Uro. I don't know, they were just kind of moving. There was some momentum getting built behind it, and they are going to go for the Garrosh.
Yeah, Trick was just mentioning that one, so coming in as the first pick for Team Freedom, but now on the other side. Again, we have to talk about Linked and his Deckard Cain play. You may not want to 1-2 it, but it's certainly available. There's the Phoenix as well, Deckard Cain for Leftovers. This is such a comfortable opener for this team.
Easy CC coming out from Deckard Cain too. A safe play with Phoenix as well. You can sit back and build off based on what Team Freedom's been going for. You see their foundation before you move into your bottom half of the draft. And we'll be getting the Genji and Abathur. Team Freedom has decided if we're going out at least with a little bit of smart play here as they head straight for that back line.
They need to have that kind of swagger if they want to see game number 4 going in a second round ban phase. I do believe that Team Freedom is on track to get exactly what they were looking for. The Malthael ban, if they're really trying to beat out the Cho'Gall.
It's gotta be a bait though, right? Like you're throwing out the Malthael ban, saying, hey, we might Cho'Gall, but...
I actually think it is a bait, and we'll see what happens with Team Freedom right now. If you don't ban the Cho'Gall, I would like to see... Okay, so they're banning the Blaze at this point. You see that Abathur for Team Freedom. You have the ability right now to run into Haka that allows you to make sure that you're not getting out macroed super heavily by Team Freedom. At least you have a response to the global presence of the Slug.
I really do enjoy Dahaka here the more you talk about it. I mean, of course, there are other ways you can go. You can go into a York if you really want to, help out with that front line against Garrosh, and you can lock down a target. You will suffer a little bit against the Genji. But here's Muradin, and there's Dahaka.
Right on.
Just Dahaka, global presence.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I think we could see potentially Deckard Cain along with a Zeratul And a Dahaka. Just a hard shut down the Abathur pick. It's really hard to hatch someone or to get some kind of body soak if you have two people roaming on the map looking for you.
Okay, so Team Freedom, they can either run a normal solo laner or they can run something like a Jaina with their support and just all-in team fight. Look for big combos with those clones, and then you'd have Genji on the backside as well, but they're running the Team Freedom special. D.Va coming in here on this game number 3. That's Nazmas's pick.
I love this. I call this the Bomberman composition because into the fray, throwing the mech at people, full-on Bomberman toss. I love this. If you're going to go out with a bang, go out with your identity.
Going out with a bang might be what actually happens here, quite literally. But D.Va for the 5th pick. Love to see a D.Va in the mix. Ooh. And Cassia will be the final pickup here for the Leftovers, helping out with the poke as you usually move into that Q build. But really, the main story of this draft is the D.Va pickup.
That's very interesting for sure. If there's any team, of course, to run the D.Va, it's going to be Team Freedom. They play it so... I can't say it. They've played it before and they're very comfortable with it. Nazmas is very vocal about that hero in general, so this is the team to run it. Whether or not it's successful is up to the way that they play it.
I remember the last Western Clash when they ran it with a Stitches Gorge combo into a D.Va explosion. You would gorge somebody in, try to explode, blow them up, and it worked a couple times, especially on 2-minute Spider Queen. This one, though, a little bit more Garrosh based. Into the fray, you can toss in the bomb, try and blow up your opponent. Surprise factor is what's really strong with this draft.
As far as coordination goes, Team Freedom is playing a composition that they know very well. Earlier in the tournament, we've seen Cassia picks be somewhat punished, but if you look on the side of Team Freedom, the thing I'm worried about, they don't have a whole lot of lockdown. Outside of the throw and the follow-up stun from Garrosh, Cassia stands to have that armor almost all the time. It's going to be that much more difficult to take her out.
We're going over to Gillyweed and Jayhow, and we'll see if this composition will be the spark that they need to get back in this series.
If Team Freedom is to reverse sweep the Leftovers, just like the Leftovers did versus Method, then they've got to play to win, and D.Va seems to do just that.
We said it in Nazmas special. It's been a long time since we've seen it, but they are going to put all their hopes in this basket of that. But they also have the Abathur and the Genji to try and make that work as well, something that we'll see if Lutano can excel on.
Well, I'm ready to see if the Zugrug and Nazmas synergy that the analyst panel talked about is enough to get a Warlord's Challenge into a self-destruct and blow up Game 3 in their favor.
Leftovers stands one game away from approaching the grand finals, and it will be Boss on that Dahaka, DAB on the Cassia linked. We know what he's done on that Deckard Cain, Mopsu on Muradin, and Blakitny on Phoenix. It is Leftovers.
And the Red one game away from being out of the tournament. Yoda playing Abathur, Nazmas on his D.Va, Zugrug playing a Garrosh, Lutano playing Genji, and finally Collusion on his Karazim. Let's hear it for Team Freedom!
To get things underway, Lutano has made spectacular things happen on the Genji. He will have the supporting Abathur hat, so look for them to be aggressive. And Gilly, I look at the minimap, I don't even look at what's there, I just look at the minimap. This positioning from Zugrug and team, I've never seen anything like this. Peekaboo. Well, they're able to walk away.
Party's over, boys. Heads up from Linked to recognize so many people were off map, knowing that this is a composition that wants to be aggressive. When you have a Garrosh with combos and then the follow-up damage of Lutano and Karazim, not to mention Nazmas, who's currently chilling down here. We have Abathur in the top versus Dahaka. We'll see if that changes up after the initial rotations around, as teams are feeling each other out in the rotations between lanes. But Leftovers know that Team Freedom are going to be trying to get in with that early damage.
They just hide around corners. They try and give a big shout out as you come around like, "Taha, I'm here." And so, unfortunately, Leftovers, they're a little too clever. The Deckard Cain sniffing out. Now that they've already seen that once, especially around that fog, it's something that Team Freedom has been doing more and more lately, is you don't just have to sit in a bush to play around fog. And that's something that Zugrug will be trying to accomplish. I can't see, especially right out of the gates, if you're going to get many more options like that going forward.
So the setup for Team Freedom is Abathur top, D.Va bot, then the 3-man of Zugrug with the Genji and Karazim. Well, they're changing that up, but it was to have the laning, but D.Va being able to get the camp, she'll be able to push along with that in the mid lane, but Team Freedom has found out that Leftovers are on this bottom camp. They want to get all the pressure going. They want to start taking out some of these structures. They take the camp. Dahaka stalking in, though.
Now all of a sudden, Zugrug, he's in a bad spot, trying to hold into position, trying to neutralize that damage with the defense matrix is not enough. Blakitny, though, gets out with almost no health. Lutano unable to dive in. There's going to be the mech explosion. Only counts for a half death, but once they get the Nasmus takedown, that counts for even more. Mopsio and team, despite those low health bars, Team Freedom unable to get the resets. 2 first kills here for Leftover.
Linked being given Deckard Cain is risky from Team Freedom, to say the least. That route was absolute perfection as D.Va bailed out of her mech when it was taken down. To get caught by that, he had already started doing it. Scroll of Sealing is a pretty long wind-up time, so being able to time that out, get the root, get the kill for the team is very nice indeed. First Shrine will be activating in the bottom lane. Camp in favor of Leftovers in the mid. Both teams working on making sure that they have the appropriate response of having Shaman in the top lane while they will be busy around that Shrine.
One thing to note was Dahaka's use of that dig that he used in that team fight. He did walk his way back up on a 1-minute cooldown, so could conceivably stay top as long as his team can hold position bottom, because Abathur can always supplement those pushes. But with this style from Team Freedom, it's generally going to be the Abathur hat on top of one of the heroes trying to get that damage in, and that damage comes out on Blakitny. He gets tossed in. There goes Lutano trying to get the kill. There's the deflect. Here comes the explosion. Unable to get it just far, but here comes Podyboss.
What it does do is zone away the Leftovers for the time being. Lutano chased down by Podyboss as he's here in the bottom lane. Abathur, the longer that they can keep everyone here from Leftovers now, will be able to get a soak, but Nasmus gets taken out of the mech again, and Mopsio was hoping to go after him in that squishy form. Instead, finds himself a Garrosh, but with the Abathur symbiote is just fine.
Now Leftovers has established some control over this, 24 and counting on those Skeletal Defenders, a substantial lead at this stage of the game. Abathur did move top to try and take care of that top push. Dahaka did have the advantage when he left. Lutano's going to respond in kind to make sure and take down the one that summons those extra minions there alongside with Team Freedom. Though one thing they do lack outside of maybe the Karazim at this point is that damage that can really punch down this Punisher. It is an early Punisher, so they will be able to take it down, but with that gate already peppered down, Leftovers and team, they're going in aggressive here.
We see Nasmus is actually staying in D.Va form, the pilot form, just because that does give some more sustained damage to bring down this Punisher, and it was baited all the way back into position so they could do that. Now getting into the mech. Zugrug starting to step back forward. 7 here for Leftovers. Nice Stormbolt on Zugrug to stop him from getting too aggressive around the rest of Leftovers, so he could possibly set up for a throw back into the waiting arms of Team Freedom.
Right now, Team Freedom looks up at the top. They see one level down. They've been aggressive so far, unable to find their first kill of the game. You have to imagine that they have to continue to look for those invades. They can keep control of vision with the Abathur mines going down in key rotational places, see if they can find something around those, so they'll keep an eye on that. Obviously, I believe that was a mule I just saw come down at the top of the screen, so Abathur trying to keep these structures alive.
Yeah, it was called down, and because Team Freedom saved that fort, now trying to push out the lane so that Leftovers can't move in. That camp will be possibly a point of contention now because of that too. The idea when you have Mule is that you keep the lane pushed out so that teams can't go in and try to take it out or take down the structure before it has been able to heal up. But Team Freedom also have amassed quite a presence in the mid lane with that Cosver camp now. A possibility of trying to siege on these structures with Collusion, with the Iron Fist, the damage that he can bring out.
Yeah, they know that if they can trade out, get structures here, and that camp on the bottom doesn't take down anything more, as you see Lutano trying to get in position. Lutano moved out of position to make sure you could get the dash in, but that Feeding Frenzy style, post level 7, you get those autos in, the drag's gonna be there. Podyboss making plays.
I said what a drag, like, oh, that sucks, but I just mean literally, what a drag. That was nice from Podyboss. No way of dashing away from that. Holding down Karazim. And with that, even more confident to make the plays come in and take out this fort. The Mule is back. Self-destruct zones away yet again. All of Leftovers so that the healing of this structure can continue. But Leftovers, Jay-How, are swiftly approaching their heroics.
Yeah, the whole thing that Team Freedom was trying to accomplish was to use that mid lane push. They know they could give up a minor amount of damage in that small lane and then heal it up later and then trade out in terms of structures by just pushing that middle lane. Instead, they suffered that loss, which was more XP going over to Leftovers. They don't get that control, and now Leftovers, they're looking for more. They're popping the mech.
Look at that root. Such an amazing setup from that. Valkyrie narrowly misses, pulling in a second kill for Leftovers. Gosh, the synergy of this team is phenomenal.
There's something to be said. The more games you play through that lower bracket, you really start to pick up on things. This meta has evolved for this team, and in some ways, it's their own meta, but it relies heavily on aggression on that front line. Podyboss and Mopsio, they set it all up, allowing DAB and Blakitny to really follow up. For Team Freedom, they are not yet 10, still a half level away, need to try and get anything to get back into this. They will have the mech, of course, they can always use around those team fights, but if they can get 10, they might turn this around. But for Leftovers, they get another kill or two, plus this Punisher, it might just be spiraling out of control.
Team Freedom are running out of time, running out of options, because this game gets further and further out of their grasp as it's slipping through their fingers. Leftovers now on the point of the shrine as Team Freedom are starting to rotate in. They'll get a few skeletal defenders in their advantage before they start off. Nasmus does not have self-destruct yet. He wants to build that up, so they will have this around the shrine before this really big engagement starts to go in. Using Indomitable, lockdown on Nasmus.
Zuckrug just getting bodied by the tornado, as is Nasmus, and also pushed the mech directly into DAB, and now the attention is here on the front line. Isolation used. There's going to be the drag follow-up, but Nasmus and team continuing to go in. Lutano trying to find anything. X-Strike coming down, unable to confirm the kill.
Double Genji too.
Another drag.
Yoda in the back. No kills yet for either team. Leftover still have Valkyrie. Blakitny gets pretty low. Lutano harassing and he brings him down, gets the kill on Phoenix.
Yoda says, look, I'm going out with a bang there on that clone. Ends up getting enough damage. Lutano follows up on that. Now with the numbers advantage. Team Freedom, they're going in. There goes the mech explosion again. Pew, pew, pew. On the way out is Podyboss and team. They're holding position as the race 28-28. We have a race right now for the final ones for the Punisher.
Well, Nasmus will be pulled by that Valkyrie, but it does feel like Team Freedom are fighting for their lives. Taunt goes out, seven-sided strike, starts to put in the damage from Collusion. Lornado's there, 32-34 for the skeletal defenders. Team Freedom are falling low, they are battered and bruised. Zuckrug gets taken down as a kill, and the Punisher picked up though by Team Freedom.
They stopped the bleeding for now, because if this had gone any bit closer to the Leftovers, they're at a level and a half lead, almost 13. If that Punisher had been there and that kill, things would look different. But Team Freedom finding a way to hold on in this game, starting to turn things around in their favor. They get the Punisher. They're starting to get some XP soak in the other lanes. They have a lot more to do to come back in this game.
The way Nasmus has been focused, especially coming out of his mech form, I would not be surprised to see either Nano Weave Suit or Torpedo Dash. He's played both of them at various times at 16, just depending on which is going to net him surviving through what Leftovers have been bringing, because their control over this diva has been great. The first self-destruct over that shrine was really good, pushed all the way back and then made better by the Lornado even, but then the second one ended up going up, still was able to help out with some skeletal defenders and give them a bastion to retreat to. Team Freedom got that Punisher, but it was oh so close. They are not out of the woods yet.
That Lornado just bodying that thing. I'm like, well, something's happening. There's the Lornado. You never know what's going to happen in those situations, but Team Freedom, they'll find their way on to 13 soon. Lutano and team, they go directly onto Podyboss. Lutano's going to go ahead and dash away. Collusion finds himself in familiar company. Right now you can see the pings, but for now we have the calm before the storm that will be coming in soon, because the next objective, even talent tiers, could be even more explosive than the last.
Well, that mid fort would help a lot. If Team Freedom could take it out, it's all but dead, giving them the experience needed, but they have been stabilizing is the best way to say that. Using that Abathur keeps them in the game, keeps them where they can fight with this team fighting composition. And that is most welcome to Team Freedom, because they're going to need some more fights. There's a camp in the bottom lane and a push from Phoenix. With a lot of people from Team Freedom up in the top, it's up to Nasmus to start to rotate down to catch that, make sure that no further damage is done, because that next shrine is going to be in the bottom lane. There is no fort there, and there's no well for Team Freedom. Things to keep in mind over this next shrine fight.
You know that Shaman Camp has such high priority. We saw it during the first objective phase. Tahaka managed to get some advantage, but of course those locusts from Abathur do play in over time. Looks like they're going to time it a little better this time around. Hold that for the objective when it spawns for Leftovers. If Team Freedom is here, they're like, man, I really hope this timer comes in, because every moment that passes is another moment that Leftovers gets closer and closer to 16. It looks like Team Freedom, they're going to find their way at least to try and get that experience here mid lane. Mopsio and team, they come by, give them something to respect for now.
All right, emergency shielding might make the difference for Nasmus. if all of the focus and the timing is not ready for that extra shield, that extra bit of time, that he will be in the mech before going down. Nasmus all charged and ready to go. Lutano goes over, still shurikens on the 4, hoping to get that. And Leftovers swiftly approaching their 16 talent here. Team Freedom doing what they can to catch up.
There's going to be the stun in. Valkyrie's actually going to pull in Garrosh, who managed to step in front of that. Zuckrug is taking so much damage. He gets the taunt. Dahaka's about to come in. The salvo, however, they are diving deep onto that Garrosh, unable to get the kill so far. They are so close. They're trying to keep alive. The Lornado's going to be there. Zuckrug, the first to fall in this team fight.
Nasmus was willing to use that self-destruct just to see if it would scare away Leftovers. Now boosting away. Leftovers could not be sated. They get the kill. 26 seconds until Garrosh is back up. And Team Freedom will just have to back out, clear out their other lanes, and look to get 16 for the defense, because Leftovers are sitting on the shrine, ready to get another Punisher down that bottom lane.
For Leftovers at this point in the game, they can start to look for keeps, look for those moments to follow up. One good Valkyrie, one good Lornado to get a single kill like they did just before this Shrine phase is enough to really push their advantage, and they're going to try and do that. It is a frozen Punisher. Team Freedom, they desperately want 16. They're going to be unable to do so. They've got a Hearth back. They've got to get back here. They need this staunch defense to hold up in this game if they want to keep their tournament hopes alive.
It's a crucial moment for Team Freedom, being down 2 games in this best of 5. Lose this and they are out. Indomitable, Valkyrie already went out. Indomitable used to bait over this Punisher to give his team time to take this Punisher down. 7-sided strike as the flip goes over, the taunt happens, Muradin is blown up, and that is not how Leftovers wanted this siege to go.
Perfect defense by Team Freedom. They hold on, they get 16, they got the reset on that. The perfect isolation into the taunt by Team Freedom. They're looking for more if they can get further. Pody Boss, he's on to Haka. He picks up speed though once he starts to make his way through this bush, and Leftovers, they've taken a couple of minor steps, but they do pick that up in time. Isolation was used, but there's going to be the cleanse.
One minor step would have been the difference of Zuckrug getting on the point in time, but a flip over Pody Boss, everyone piling in for the party, and it's not working out for Freedom. No, not at all with those 2 kills. The body blocks Nasmus, torpedo dashes, but it's into the base of Leftovers, and a very interesting person to chase her down.
He's going to try and get away. There's going to be the mech. He does have that booster, runs into the tornado. He makes it out alive, dodges the Valkyrie. He still has a lot more coming because in comes Blakitny. He can try and hold on. There's the Abathur.
Yes,
doesn't have more. He has self-destruct already worked up, but the boosters get him to safety. He finds a dinosaur at the end of the torpedo. Nasmus is going all over the place. Are you kidding me? Nasmus, how are you making this happen?
The drag happened on the self-destruct, gave the damage. He has still not out of it yet, but Lutano has come to his aid. He has the shield too from the Carapace.
No!
And is gunned down by the purification salvo in the end.
I've never seen so many jukes, and he almost got away, but Leftovers finally able to track him down. Whew.
Genji coming in to save D.Va, still a better love story than Twilight. It was so close!
For Leftovers, they are 1 level away from 20, and 1 game went away from the grand finals. They seem to be in control, 11 kills to 2. Team Freedom, they got that 1 pick. They're going to look for more with their positioning, but they desperately need experience. The one saving grace for Team Freedom, at least momentarily, is that the next shrine is in the top, and right now they have a fort standing in the way, but Leftovers sees that. They're going to look to siege upon that to open this up, to open up a win condition here in the top lane.
Oh, it's tough for Team Freedom because they know that this is going to be the case. Nasmus builds up some self-destruct. In the bottom, Team Freedom siege. They know that the Leftovers are amassing in the top. They go down, they get a fort there because they know they're gonna have to play the 20 game. They've got to get experience to catch back up. But what that does do is let Leftovers push down that fort, which means they get 20, which means there's less structures standing between them, the Punisher, and the Keep. And now Team Freedom are left looking for answers because they have to have, they had 1 miracle defense before. We'll see if they can do it again. But with that pushing keep going, Leftovers can keep it just as much with that 20.
Nasmus holding position. Valkyrie has been used. He ends up not able to get that. Nasmus falls. You get into the fray. You get the explosion, but there is no damage. You could see he tried to play around that with Collusion down at the bottom, getting the experience with that Abathur hat. You could see he wanted to try and bait that around that. Instead, he popped out the wrong side. Valkyrie pulls in the pilot for him. Down goes Nasmus. That might be a nail in the coffin. Team Freedom will have another defense. We've seen it once already, but you desperately need that mech explosion at least to hold an area.
I don't know if we can yell out enough of the Leftovers players' names for how many plays they have been making. DAB is a monster. Linked has been a terror on his Deckard Cain, but on other heroes too. Leftovers have just been so strong and gaining strength throughout this tournament. And with that, they get another Punisher. Team Freedom do not have 20. They don't have Storm Talents. They do have D.Va back, but she does not have a self-destruct for this.
The Indomitable is here if Garrosh can get the bait over, but look for Mopsio to leap right in with that Punisher when it happens. But the Indomitable's there. Mopsio unable to get there. The salvo is going to land onto a couple of targets. Nasmus gets dragged in again. He's trying to dash out of the way. Lutano trying to make the plays. They have to make something happen. Seven-sided strike is there, but that is going to be Garrosh, the first to fall. The Punisher jumps over again. The keep has fallen, and now Leftovers, they are trying to secure their spot in the grand final as they approach the core of Team Freedom.
Self-destruct, doing what they can. Team Freedom hoping for a miracle hold, but it just doesn't seem to be enough. They do take down Blick Kidney, and that is one of the big damage dealers on the core. X-Strike drops down as Lutano and Nasmus, the rest of Team Freedom fighting for their lives. It's just not to be had. 10%, 5%. Leftovers are going to the grand finals of the Western Clash.
Gilly Mopsio came into this tournament and he said, I don't want to repeat. I'm not here to rewrite the same narrative that I had with Zealots. Instead, we are here to learn. We are here to get this experience. I've got news for him. He's coming in as the 4th seed from Europe again, and he finds himself in the grand finals. Something about this Mopsio magic is bringing them back here to face Dignitas.
I've heard from so many people, Mopsio just does something to a team. Not sure what it is, but you have to shout out the other 4 players of this team. They are playing so cohesively. Each person is making plays. Podyboss with his drags that game. The Valkyries, who would have even thought the Valkyries and the way that those were played around Nasmus and his D.Va, but this team looks in fine form to take on Team Dignitas. Is it enough though? It's Team Dignitas.
Everything about this team has said aggression, team fighting, more aggression, more team fighting. They have brought the fight in every single match they've been in, and they are going to have one more chance. And we know the Towers of Doom game going back to Poland earlier at the first Western Clash, that showed itself, and they fought so valiantly in that series. There's going to be a lot to experience in this series, obviously best of 7, but with that one lead for Dignitas, it is a mountain to climb for Leftovers still.
Yeah, Dignitas has not dropped a single game, and I feel like we haven't been talking about them as much as teams like Team Freedom, or especially as much as the Leftovers, but that's purely just because they are so strong. It feels like they're just on another level, and everyone else is fighting for who gets to nip at the heels of Team Dignitas. But that grand finals went all the way to the end, despite us thinking the same thing around Dig. So we'll have to see what now the Leftovers can do versus this strong opponent of Team Dignitas.
Well, before we do approach those grand finals, we get to hear from the man DAB as he is on standby there with Trixler.
Yes, I am here with DAB, and he is showing off the dab that they have showed off all weekend. DAB, I got 2 things to say to you. First off, congratulations. You have made it to the grand finals. Did you expect to go there?
Absolutely, yeah. No, but seriously, we didn't expect much coming to this tournament. We're obviously the underdog. Many people place us as the last team, the worst team probably, but we proved them wrong. We dabbed on the haters.
Just dabbing on the haters. Just enjoying the ride. And then my last thing before I send you over to Lauren. Cho'Gall in game number 1. What inspired you to play that character?
We have chosen it pretty randomly. Like, I wish there was a random button because it would make picking heroes like that easier. We just chose it randomly.
Well, it worked out. I'm gonna send you over to Lauren.
Congratulations, man. One of the things I like about your story in particular is when you were telling us when you first got into competitive, it was very much like a random happenstance, oh yeah, I guess I'll play kind of thing. You've made it here to the grand finals for the half of the world. How does it feel to go from maybe I'll play some competitive to being one of the best players in the league?
That feels pretty good, not gonna lie. That feels just amazing.
For myself, when I watched you guys play against Team Freedom beforehand, you fall 3-1. My biggest thing watching you guys play against that team was the fact that they got Medivh constantly. Moving into this series against them, was that your primary goal, just to make sure they didn't get that hero? Because your guys' play style is very fast, very aggressive. When you play against the Medivh, he's got the shields, they got the portals, they can disengage from pretty much any angle. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we felt Medivh super hard.
Yeah.
We didn't adapt in time in the previous series, and we already gave them 2 maps when they got Medivh. But this time we just banned Medivh from the beginning, and it went pretty smooth.
Nice adaptation, thanks.
Well, you've got one more series to prepare for. You are going against Team Dignitas in the grand finals. Any early thoughts?
Yeah, we'll just try to keep learning and improving.
That's all you gotta do. All right, guys, that's it for us in the Lizards final. We have a big victory happening here for the Leftovers. They take out Team Freedom. The grand finals is gonna be coming up to you next. It's gonna be Team Dignitas taking on the Leftovers.
Is going to be that allows them to find the answer. They have the Blessed Shield out on DAB. Now we see Yoda going in with the Purification Salvo.
Lifebinder's there. Nasmus, he's pulled in, Gilly.
Yeah, he does. Nasmus has still been staying alive with his Vindication, his healing, and the healing of Collusion. But now Pulse Bomb, Yoda warps away, but DAB is right there to follow him up, getting a second kill.
There's going to be the Pulse Bomb. Make it 3, and Leftovers picking up a head of steam. Now, at best, they get 1, but now we're going to see if they can turn that as there comes the Blessed Shield. In comes the Salvo, the Lifebinder, not enough to keep Alex Straza alive. So a perfect counter so far for Team Freedom.
A lovely front flank, but even still, there's a double kill as Leftovers turn this around, taking out Phoenix too. They're taking him down, dropping like flies. DAB deep in the lines of Team Freedom as he brings down Ural, and Zugrug, the lone wolf from Team Freedom, is brought down. Making sure that he can Avenging Wrath away or knock someone back with a hammer. If that's the case, it's his job to make sure. Zugrug tries to go in. We see the root does land onto Mopsio, but it's only Mopsio, and Podyboss doing what he loves to do, dive in deep to the back line.
The Minute Bunker went down. Salvo came out. Now all of a sudden, Collusion, he's on the back foot. He's going to be the first to fall. Leftovers is going in. There's the body block. Zugrug, the roots are going to land onto him. He's just trying to get to the other side of the wall. Podyboss says, don't worry, I got a backdoor pass as he comes in and takes down Diablo. Nasmus somehow able to escape.
3 souls. Not nearly as tanky as he used to be. Now body blocked away from the rest. Blown up in the blink of an eye. Purification Salvo now coming out, but the bunker's there. Tyrael goes down.
There we go. There's going to be the explosion. Nasmus, he's holding on point. Yoda trying to get the reset, unable to do so. DAB comes in with another kill. The rest of Team Freedom, they are walking away. A couple of minor steps, but they do pick that up in time. Isolation was used, but there's going to be the cleanse.
One minor step would have been the difference of Zugrug getting on the point in time, but a flip over Podyboss, everyone piling in for the party, and it's not working out for Freedom. No, not at all with those 2 kills. The body blocks Nasmus, torpedo dashes.
The Indomitables there. Mopsio unable to get there. The Salvo is going to land onto a couple of targets. Nasmus gets dragged in again. He's trying to dash out of the way. Lutano trying to make the plays. They have to make something happen. 7-sided strike is there, but that is going to be Garrosh, the first to fall. The Punisher jumps over again. The Keep has fallen, and now Leftovers, they are trying to secure their spot in the grand finals as they approach the core of Team Freedom.
Self-destruct, doing what they can. Team Freedom hoping for a miracle hold, but it just doesn't seem to be enough. They do take down Blick Kidney, and that is one of the big damage dealers on the core. X-Strike drops down as Lutano and Nasmus, the rest of Team Freedom fighting for their lives. It's just not to be had. 10%, 5%.